My name is Bibi Lucille. I'm the writer and performer of Meet Cute. And you are?
I'm Anastasia. I'm the director and producer.
And Meet Cute is a comedy one-woman show about a woman who tries to turn all her Tinder dates vegan. What could go wrong? That tagline.
Yes, and obviously the show's been around now for a couple of years. But then
Yeah.
throw back to the process at the start. What kind of inspired you guys to create the show?
It was over lockdown where like every actor was unemployed. Well, everyone was unemployed. And me and Annie were, socially distanced drinking in a garden. And she was putting on this kind of like distant scratch night for when, the what's it called? Not the laws, but everything was kind of eased up. The restrictions were eased.
Yeah, we were allowed to do like outdoors theatre. So we launched the theatre company Patch Plays, and it was a scratch like BB said, where we're looking for 10-minute short pieces as material.
Yeah. And Annie told me you should write something, like, write a little comedy. And I thought there's just no way. No way. It feels like reading your diary on stage. And yeah, she kind of spoke about how I should talk about how I always try and turn my boyfriends vegan. Which sounded kind of hilarious. So yeah, I ended up kind of just writing it overnight, this 10-minute piece. And then it all just snowballed from there. And here we are 3 years later, still rinsing the story.
No, it was brilliant. It was so well received. And for like a short play as well, what was great is then being able to develop that over like, 6 months or maybe less, that you then wrote it into a full piece. And then we toured it around different London Fringe venues. So we did Chiswick Playhouse for 2 nights, then we did Camden Fringe, then we did Bread and Roses for a week. And yeah, kept going. Did Vault Festival, January to March, clearly have to keep going with this piece. And now we're going Edinburgh. So yeah.
Then what's it like when you get to kind of have that development and kind of keep going? And like you say, to this point where you're about to go to the Fringe, what's it like for you guys?
It's really satisfying to have the time to develop a piece over this length of time, because actually, even though the script is now set and it's solid and it's being published, and we're having a book launch tonight, the script is set, but every time we come to rehearse it, we find new details in new characters, because I love rehearsing for a long period of time, and luckily, because it's just the two of us, we can rehearse as much as we want, and every time we do it, we still find new details, because you multi-role like at least 12 characters, so you can imagine there's still a lot to find and to hone each time. And there's one character called Stephen, who's this office geek, and we discovered a new little sort of mannerism for him the last time we did it. And just finding new stuff is really satisfying, and also growing the audience and putting it out for different audiences, because it is also talking about animal rights and animal ethics and the discussion around that. So being able to use theatre for activism and do it at so many different venues essentially means we're hitting wider audiences each time as well.
Yeah, spreading the message.
Then how do you manage to balance those themes of activism and while still making it a comedy?
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of like finding humor in so many different things, and in the way that I think activists do seem like a little bit crazy, because you're so constantly angry and you're fighting for something that feels so out of your control. And like the more something's out of your control, I think the kind of more insane it drives you. So finding the humor in how like crazier and crazier Lena becomes, purely because she's so incredibly passionate about something she has no control over. And I think the story of activists are really interesting, and one that people don't really discuss a lot, especially in like the arts. And the one that kind of really sparked a lot of inspiration to tell like an activist story was that film Okja, which I make a stupid reference to in the play. Because it was like about these activists and how insane they seem, but how their hearts are so in the right place because they want to help these like innocent animals that have no say about their own bodies and the rights of their lives. But then you don't want to do it in like a kind of a preachy way. You don't want to put people off or be aggressive. So it seems like comedy is a great way to have those discussions, because everyone feels safe and no one feels like attacked, basically.
Yeah, and it's a farce, so the way it's done is to entertain, and through entertainment spark people to start thinking about these themes, which is really cleverly written into the script, that it does get to more meaningful and deeper themes, but it is still entertainment in its form.
Yes.
Yeah, and you kind of loosely touched on it, but the book launch is obviously happening tonight as we record this. And then how is that kind of when you get to that point where you've now got a physical copy that's going to be out there in the world as well?
Yeah. I think, I mean, I am doing it for attention, but it's nice to have I think because with theatre, once a run is done, it kind of disappears into the ether and like never to be seen again. And I find that really hard that there's no tangible thing to say that it was done and that it was there, unlike, films that can stand the test of time and people can watch it over and over again. So in a way, it kind of immortalizes it for as long as the book exists, the play will exist. And I think that kind of gives me a weird peace of mind about it. So that it doesn't just like disappear. There'll be like, proof. I'm like, it did happen.
Yes, music obviously is part of the show as well. You got Megan Thee Stallion's music in there. Why did you choose her music?
She's a vegan, and Billie Eilish. So we've got basically vegan pop stars as our soundtrack, which ties in with the message of female empowerment and veganism, which are two huge themes in the play. And also it captures the atmosphere of it, that it is fun, it is entertaining, it is upbeat, and it's sexy as well. Because essentially it's a woman who's using her sexuality and her powers of seduction in order to convert these men, which is quite a hilarious sort of setup, but it is using that sort of style. So I think those pop stars like Megan Thee Stallion kind of capture that energy of the empowerment of using female sexuality for your own cause.
Oh, so well put.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Hopefully we'd love them to come see the show, so if they're listening,
yeah,
Billie, you're out there,
come down. You've actually met Billie Eilish.
I actually met Billie Eilish. I was 4 tequila shots down, and it was in Los Angeles, where of course all the celebrities kind of hide away, and she was just in a bar in East Hollywood, just casually hanging out. And I said to my friend, what should I say? Like, I need to say something to her. And she said, why don't you talk about how like she's the reason you're vegan? Which, wasn't, it was like a white lie, but
yeah.
but I thought, yeah, hell yeah, let's do that. So I march up to her and I go, we're the reason you're vegan. And just ruined it.
Okay.
Big moment with Billie.
If she comes, you can apologize.
I can apologize.
Yeah.
Have to get on it. Then obviously the Fringe is literally a week or so away now. How are you guys preparing for the longevity of that kind of process of doing it there?
Yeah,
I'm crying a lot.
Yeah, just manically texting each other. I mean, I do text you nonstop on WhatsApp. I'm surprised you haven't muted me yet. So it is just a lot of discussing and planning. But in all seriousness, this week we're rehearsing. We've got today, tomorrow, Wednesday. You've already packed up the van that's gone. So yeah, just using this week to tie everything together. And luckily, I mean, touch wood, there's still time to mess things up, but we've had long enough since the show's been going on for a couple of years to really sort of fundraise and plan ahead as well. So we're in a good position that we've had enough time to prep for it. So I'm feeling all right.
Yeah.
And you're bombarding Twitter as well. Which is
I am bombarded. I've never tweeted so hard in my life.
Yeah,
which I'm really enjoying now. Actually, I was like, why wasn't I a tweeter earlier? Now that it's being taken over by Elon Musk, it's going to be called X or something.
There we go. Yeah.
It's a sinking ship, but I'll sink with them.
Yes. Now I have some more kind of funner questions, just general random stuff for you. What got you both into the performing arts?
Oh,
well, my parents were actors. So I guess as soon as I was born, they were like,
keep it that way.
yeah, here, go to drama school. But I really enjoyed it as a child. I did dance classes and singing and acting, and I went to a performing arts school and I really enjoyed it. So I acted a lot growing up, but then completely stopped doing it. And I was just, I think, a moody teenager, and I was sort of traumatized by all of the all of the drama school energy. So I went to uni, I did an English degree, but then there I wrote and directed my first play, and I was like, this is the part I really enjoy. And there are so many amazing actors that actually I want to work as a director to bring together talent and coax it out. So yeah, then I was directing at uni a lot, absolutely loved it. And did my MA in theatre directing, set up a theatre company, and have been doing new plays about veganism ever since. Yeah. How about you?
Well, so we're cousins, so I've kind of, keeping it in the family as well. And it was so weird, that need to act. I've had it for as long as I can remember being alive, which just doesn't make any sense really, but I've always loved performing and playing, especially comedy. That's always been in my soul, to just be a bit mad on stage and make people laugh. And yeah, and then the writing I've really only discovered in the past 3 years with Meet Cute, because before I would enjoy it, but it would just be kind of just stuff for myself, little stories for myself, nothing I would ever want anyone to see, from just fear of judgment. So it's been so lovely to kind of find my passion for acting, and then also this kind of newfound passion for writing, and also having the whole meaning behind it. So, the passion for animal rights and the environment, being able to fuse all of it. Yeah, that's so not an answer to the question that you asked, but how did I get into it? I don't know. I've always loved it.
You had the need forever.
Yeah.
And obviously veganism, as you say, big subject of the play. What would be the best vegan dish you would recommend to anybody out there?
This is crunch time, because we need to
We say should we say our answer after 3 and see if it's how different it is?
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Sausage rolls. Similar. Okay, so sausage rolls, and yours was Temple of Satan.
Yeah, Temple of Satan is a chain, and they do the best vegan fried chicken. I mean, it's full of crap.
It's delicious though.
It's literally addictive.
And very meat-like.
Very meat-like.
That's the same like Greg's sausage roll. So many meat eaters I know opt for the vegan one because they prefer it, and it tastes very meat-like. So we've got so many amazing substitutes now, and especially in London and Edinburgh. I've been Googling all the vegan cafes. So we're really lucky. We're in a good time in the world, in a good country where we've got all the things we could wish for as vegans. So yeah.
We'll spend all our money on food in Edinburgh.
Oh yeah. That's been the main fundraising.
Yeah.
You have to get some sponsorship. That's what you need to just do now.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, Greg's, if you're out there as well.
Temple of Satan.
Yeah.
Just giving you a shout out.
Free promotion.
And obviously the dating side of the show as well, you've kind of touched on. Where would be the place you would recommend for a first date for someone?
Mildred's is lovely. I've been on many a first date in Mildred's, but I guess it's also pressure because it's like a restaurant,
and get them to pick up the bill.
Yeah.
It's quite pricey.
They've got to pick up the bill. Yeah.
A good first date. I just love going to a bar for a first date. Just a quiet pub. Sit there and chat and drink, and that's
And you can leave if you don't like them.
You can leave. Yeah.
And you're not tired for too long.
Yeah. And you can do rounds as well. So I don't know. The picking up the bill thing isn't too much of an awkward thing at the end.
Okay, first date pub, second date Mildred's.
Yes.
There we go.
Food is a second date thing.
Yeah.
Sorted. But if you weren't in theatre and the arts, what would you guys be doing with your lives?
I love these questions. That's really making me think. What would you do?
My initial response would have been art history, because I do love a gallery. I do love a painting, and it was my degree. I did English and art history, and I do love it. And sometimes I do walk in the peace of a gallery and think, wow, what a different energy to the chaos that is the theatre industry. How lovely would this be? But then I'm sure it's just as competitive, and becoming a curator is, just as, if not more difficult. But yeah, I think art history.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mine would be journalism. I think it's like my parents were journalists, and then so I've kind of always been surrounded by that, and I feel like it kind of ties into theatre weirdly, because you're learning about like stories.
And you review shows,
and I do a bit of journaling just for a bit of cash. So yeah, I write really well. For the reviewing, I like to think I write nice articles, but I also write trash for money as well. But yeah, journalism.
Then I know you've probably not got much time for this, but what was the last TV series you guys binged?
Ooh. Oh yes. I don't know if it counts as a TV series because it's reality TV. Is it The Jurors?
Have you seen
The Jurors is really good. But my dad watched half of it and then told me how great it was. So I binge watched the second half. But I might go back to the beginning because it is brilliant. It is very good.
That's good. The last one it was probably Black Mirror, like the latest season. I just couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, that's such a boring answer.
I still haven't seen it. I'm too scared to watch Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I get really, I'll have nightmares.
Yeah, it's a bit nightmarish.
Yeah.
It's quite, especially the later season, like there's a real horror episode that kind of haunts you, but
Oh God.
in the best way.
Maybe I should start.
Yeah, do it. Then what keeps you both inspired as artists?
Genuinely, not because I'm with a writer here, but genuinely writers and working with new writers, because there's so much talent and interesting ideas out there, especially connected with animal activism and sustainability, because one of the most pressing concerns of our age right now is, of course, climate change and the terror of us losing everything. And the fact that there are writers out there writing about these topics in really entertaining and thoughtful ways is incredibly inspiring. And that's what inspires me as a director, to work with them to bring those things to life. As you said earlier, that it fuses a passion for saving the world, but through theatre as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a deep answer. Mine was like going to the cinema. Weirdly, that is that, like, every time I go to cinema, I'm like, oh, this is why I'm doing this really difficult competitive industry. Because, you know.
That makes sense though. You see films that really inspire you. Of course, seeing stuff inspires you as well.
Yeah. Like I saw Barbie the other day, and
no spoilers. I haven't seen it.
No, I will not give spoilers. But it's just seeing that, and also the message, and I was like, God, it's just film and TV and theatre and just the arts, storytelling. It's just the best way to make positive change, I think.
Yes, and then what would you want an audience member to take away from seeing Meet Cute?
Hopefully they've been entertained, and it also makes them kind of just think. And yeah, it just opens the conversation, I think. Activism. Would you say the same?
I completely agree. And to come out with a really sore stomach from having laughed so much for 60 minutes, and also maybe some wet eyes from crying at the end. So a lot to ask for, but to, I've had an emotional roller coaster, which I think the show delivers.
It's really want to shake them around.
Yeah.
Yes, but you've talked it all brilliant, but then can you condense Meet Cute in just 3 words?
Boobies. No, I can't do.
Okay, we'll do 3. I'll do one more. Okay, you do another one. Okay, so you've got boobies.
Yeah, boobies. Funny boobies.
I've got a different 3 to you.
Oh yeah, go on. Say it.
Tinder, vegans, apple juice.
I knew you were gonna say apple juice. Apple juice appears in one scene.
But it's a crucial part of the play. I feel like those 3 set up well.
Yeah, okay.
Tinder, vegans, apple juice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm
we need to work on that.
You need to work on that.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for your time today. Meet Cute is at the Gilded Balloon Patter House from the 2nd to the 27th of August, not the 14th.